Welcome to Bold Moves, the show spotlighting fearless trailblazers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries forging new paths across Arizona and beyond.
Each episode, we dive deep into uplifting stories, game-changing strategies, and the unstoppable spirit powering real transformation. Whether you're launching a business, chasing a dream, or reshaping your community, get ready to unleash your boldness.
Join your hosts, Matt Torres and Rachel Staggs, as they spark your imagination, amplify action, and help you thrive.
So buckle up and let's ignite your boldest moves yet.
All right, so we are back. This is episode 5 of the Bold News podcast, and I am super excited. I got my buddy, Eric Lee Olsen here, who is an actor, and we actually did a few things together, which is kind of cool. But Eric, say hi. How's it going?
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Glad to be here. You guys are my first official podcast, so you have my podcast virginity. Be careful.
Thank you, Astro. We're so happy to have you.
And we also have co-host Rachel Staggs. I am co-host Matt Torres. And so
guest host.
Okay, so I just want to kind of set the stage for Rachel, because she doesn't know how we met.
Yes.
But we met on set of I think it was the short film
Gladys and Dee Dee, I think. Yeah.
DD. Okay, so just to kind of give you a background, Gladys and Dee Dee, it was a short film out of Scottsdale Community College. And I played the husband, and you played this really cool, was it hippie?
Miles, the hipster guy who sits on counters and talks super slow.
All right, so I got a little surprise. So just to kind of give a little clip, I got a little clip that we're gonna see. I got it. All right, so here we go. Give me a second. Let's load this up.
Welcome to Fergie's TV and Music. I'm Miles.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Clock.
Tick tock, Mrs. Clock, my rock. How may I help you?
I need TV sets.
Way out. I dig it. Shocking. Scandalous. Oh.
Stupendous!
Slow down. Embrace the dawn.
It's afternoon.
Not in my universe of morning glory.
And that small one. Oh.
You crazy.
Thank you, Miles.
Mama's swinging like she's 16. Grove.
Oh, I love it.
I was not expecting to see that.
I was not expecting to edit either. You're a quick.
Oh man, yeah. I was started experimenting with CapCut.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Dude, that was awesome. Because I wasn't on set when you were doing that, but when I saw the replay of that, I was like, dude, that's cool.
You know what's funny about that? When I was in the audition, my buddy Bart was at school at the same place that I think Forrest was the director for that.
Mm.
And he was like, he texted me. I was like on my way to Fry's or something. And he's like, dude, you want to come down to this audition? I was like, what is it? He's like, just come down. I think you'll be good for it. I was like, okay. So I get there and he's like, okay, he wants you to do it as Miles. So in my head, I'm thinking okay, Miles, I don't know anything about this character. He's like, just play it play it like you're really slow, right? You don't know what's going on. So I get in there, the director's like, I want you to play this like you're really fast, you can't get out of this room fast enough. And he's like, I want you to play it really slow. Then he was like, I want you to play this little meteors about to hit the earth. And I went through 7 different versions of that character in that audition. That was not expected. It was a lot, but that's the business. That was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that that was probably like one of my most like fun experiences.
Yeah, that was good for all you guys. That I had such high hopes for that, and then Gladys and Dee Dee just died out somewhere.
I know, and it's like, well, I wish he would have expanded on it and like done more to it, but I'm not sure if it got like the attention that it needed. Like,
It was very like a niche like genre, like art style type piece. So I think that might have been what held it back.
I almost wonder if it was just kind of, I don't know, when you create something and you kind of you have your own like self-doubts and you have your own like, oh, it's not good enough, or oh, I don't want anyone to see this. And because dude, I remember it took like a year to like at least get a clip of that. I'm like, can I get some footage? Because I don't think he wanted to give it up. I don't think he wanted to like let it out.
I would agree.
And I'm like, why? This is like amazing. Like if you've seen the whole thing, like the whole thing's awesome.
Yeah,
like
very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like it's very well done. And everybody I thought like did a great job. And it's an interesting story.
Yeah, Forrest is a cool guy, so it's really unfortunate that it played out the way it did. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if he resurrected it, I wouldn't mind reprising the role. But,
he didn't kill off Miles, so I'd be down to come back.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That would be so cool. Like that. Anyway, so Rachel, do you kind of want to fill him in on what we do and like talking about bold moves and just risk taking and everything that, is involved there?
Sure. So we are talking to a lot of different sales professionals. We've had real estate folks, we've had other insurance folks, we've had actors, we've had lots of different people who are putting themselves out there. And I joke that I like to talk to the Michael Jordans of the world, but the analogy was that people who maybe have had an initial hard come up, right? Initially got a no, got a big rejection. And what was their bold move, or what was that next step of overcoming that hurdle? What was that big thing, would you say, for you? We'll give you a ballpark. We'll say the last 5 years.
Okay.
A little bit of an area.
So last 5 years is a big of a doozy, but I will say that something that popped into my head is the first big no. When I started this business, my family had we grew in the Midwest. I lived near Michael Jordan, but I'm not a Michael Jordan.
Right.
We didn't have a lot of money, so my parents were trying to, like, anything we heard on the radio about, come do this contest. They were just trying to encourage me to get out of my room as a kid, because I was always just like playing with action figures in my room. And I went to meet with an agent. I was probably like 15, and I looked insanely like a girl when I was 16. I had like long hair, and I show up at the audition, and they're like, so we can't really work with you until you learn not to smile because your teeth are too big. So that was like the first audition I ever had in the business. I was like, so that's what I'm in for. As a kid that's bullied in school, I'm surprised it didn't affect me as much as it did. But I realized that there was going to be probably a lot of hurdles early on. And the biggest thing in the last 5 years, I think, I was telling Matt a little bit about this. I went through a very toxic, abusive engagement with somebody. And I didn't realize that the guy can be on the receiving end of that. So I didn't talk to my family about it. I didn't talk to anybody. I had moved in with her. I left my apartment. My family, I didn't have any family here at the time. I was in the state by myself, didn't grow up here. And when it happened, I was like, well, as long as I just get to the wedding, everything will be okay. Like, I just kept telling myself, it's stress from the wedding, everything will be fine. And that was not the case at all. And so my family shows up like 3 days before the wedding. And then she decides to just pull out the carpet. There was a lot of things for the sake of time. It was those signs that I learned after was very much like she was just always looking for a way out, regretted having me move in with her just because she lost interest or whatever it may be. And so I was staying with my family in the hotel, and then they had to leave. And I was like laying on the hotel floor, and I was like, what am I doing in my life? I don't have family, I don't know where to go. I was like, literally I lived out of my Kia Soul for a bit. I had 2 really great friends, Jason and Charlotte, that took me into their home for about a year at that time. And then after that, I was kind of back to square one. So I said I could either leave and go back to Ohio where there's nothing but like mills and farms, and I pretty much give up my dream, or I stay here and just choose to live out of my Kia Soul, believe it or not. And that's kind of what I chose to do. And while I was like having those nights sitting in my car doing nothing is when I decided, I think I'm going to start using this stuff to my advantage. I just started writing all the stuff that ended up in my book. So I started writing, like, I tried to find a lot of humor in the things that were like really depressing to me. And I realized how much of a tool that is to let ourselves laugh at the things that are not meant to be funny for us. And that really started to help my healing. That, and I was staying at the parking lot of a Planet Fitness because they were 24/7. So I could like shower there. There was like all these restaurants in the same parking complex. I could just literally go between the three of them every night and then go to work up the street like 5 minutes up the road and then go back. And like, that's what I was doing for like, it was probably like 4 months, I think. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just hopping back and forth.
Yeah. So I feel like that's probably not a risk in like the insurance world, but for me, that was kind of like, even though I chose it for myself, it was like what I felt like I had to do to stay here in the market. Because after that, I booked my first commercial with Cold Stone. Like had I left and not kind of taken that plunge, if you will. And you'd be surprised, there's a lot of living room in a Kia Soul. Walmart sells these dressers, these plastic dressers that fit in the way their trunks are so vertical. I felt like I had it all played out perfect. I was like hacking into their Wi-Fi at night to watch Netflix on my iPad. Yeah, I parked right near the front door in like the one spot right there. And I became friends with these dudes that were working in the lobby. And they're like, just sleep in they have like the hydro beds. And so they would let me sleep in the hydro beds sometimes inside there. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, Lee, it doesn't have to be like insurance, you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. Like the risks that people take, it's funny because sometimes they have nothing to do with like, business in general. That's wild.
Yeah, because I literally had I didn't know what I was like, I'll do this for a little bit and see what happens. And I just kind of kept doing it without an end goal in mind. And I think that's the scary thing you get to is even now, I have no idea where I'm going like a week from now, 5 months from now. People are always like, oh, what do you want to do a year from now? I'm like, honestly, I might wake up tomorrow and everything completely goes kaput. Like, I feel like making plans is really crucial, but at the same time, you have to be open to like whatever life's going to throw at you. And just like, even in the sake of acting, it's like improv has been the most important tool I've had. And I feel like in life, you got to be willing to take what happens and like run with it. And like, that's where you're going to find success. And I relate back to a podcast you guys gave a couple weeks ago about imposter syndrome. And also you're talking about your family's in town. How's that going, by the way?
It's good. I saw them yesterday. We had dinner at the Distillery, like right by work.
Oh, wow. You guys should do Carlsbad Tavern. It's this old bat cave in Scottsdale. That's like a Mexican restaurant. Really good. Nice. Sorry, I digress. ADHD.
Same. I'm like,
to us.
Yeah. Like, yeah, what?
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. Like, it's so funny. Yeah. It's all in your book, right? You put it in a book?
It is in my book, yes. A long list of my sad stories, which my acting coach in LA was like, dude, I love that title. So, and I want the frown upside down. Amazon what is it when they deny the book 3 times. When I originally, they're like, your photo's upside down, you need to change. I was like, you guys, I had to go Shakespeare, and I was like, that's an artistic choice, okay? I had to explain to them in this massive email why I'd like my face to be upside down on the cover. Like, well, people are going to think it's dumb. No one's going to.
Extremely difficult. I was trying to get at one point a protein powder passed through Amazon Marketplace. Yeah, I was working with an angel investor with the whole TikTok come up or whatever, and it was going to be my own supplement. So, I was going through the same issues, and somebody like Salud Supplements, like Salud, like Cheers, right? Was my name, and somebody had entered Salud Naturals or something like 2 weeks before me.
Oh, wow.
And messed up everything for me.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's got to be harder than doing like a book title. Yeah, because you have like a product name.
Oh, it was a product name, and then you have everything to be verified, like NFS or whatever, like whatever you choose, like whatever sports science brand you choose to go with.
Yeah, it's like hard enough trying to create an email and then having that. You don't want to just throw like a 7 or a 9 at the end of it.
It makes sense to me though, because everything has to be like to their standards. And if you're not like completely complying, it's always a hang up with them. It's always.
You're listening to Bold Moves with Matt Torres and Rachel Staggs.
Celebrate the fearless, empower the ambitious, and take action.
Go ahead. I was going to say the cover, you know how I have it like on a notepad, because it's like, I want it to be like journal entries. So I chose like a really interesting font on the inside, and they're like, oh, we can't approve a cover that looks like it's a notebook. I was like, what are you talking about? It's a
I'm giggling because they gave me such a hard time.
like
I was
laughing, like laugh anger. And I'm sure you guys relate to being laugh angry. Like angry is like the worst thing to feel, but it was like insane to try to get that to go through. So
almost maniacal.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to write this?
So my mom was the one that always encouraged me that, you know, just write everything throughout your life. And so when I was a kid, I was bullied. I'd come home crying. I'm like writing in my room, like, what has happened? And I didn't end up using a lot of that, but that's probably 25 years of writing in that book that I wanted to like structure it in like stories. So each chapter is like its own little short story.
I'm going to ask if it was dedicated to her. That was my follow-up question.
Yes, it is 100%. Yeah. And then I did a stand-up routine in acting college. I was like avoiding stand-up for the longest time. And they're like, well, before you graduate, we're going to give you one thing you have to like face this fear and do this. So I did this stand-up. I think it's somewhere in like the depths of YouTube. It's like 15 years ago and went pretty good there. Tried to do stand-up at Tempe Improv. Didn't really understand my audience. It went awful because I'm more a fan of like witty humor instead of like crude humor. And so I didn't really have the ideal audience for that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to find ways to use that in like writing and put it in the book instead of, I was like, I'm not going to let it stop me, right? I'm going to just take a risk. And it took me 2 years, including editing, to finish that.
2 years.
Yeah. So I think that engagement ended around like 22 or 23, April around sometime. So yeah, I'm coming about 3 years. So 2 years, I finished that last October. So it's still pretty fresh off the press, as they say back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's on Amazon.
It is on Amazon under a long list of my said stories. Yeah, I got 4.8 right out of 5 stars. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, we got to get the link, and we'll throw the link up.
I appreciate that. It's really funny because the week I uploaded, it was like number 100 of parodies. And I was like, okay, nobody's bought it yet. And now it's like people have bought it and it's dropped down to like 100,000 in parodies. I'm like, you guys, Amazon does very bizarre things with like the way you try to like, I can't even imagine having a product and like trying to be consistent business on Amazon. That would be a doozy.
Wow. Yeah, Amazon can be kind of crazy at times. That's wild. So hold on, I'm going to just back out.
Yes,
a little bit. So you did the stand-up?
I did the stand-up, yeah, Tempe Improv. And I remember I was visiting my family in Ohio for my mom's birthday, and my plane was delayed that day. So I get to the airport, and I had a layover. Because of the delay, the layover was wonky. I got off, I was like, what concourse am I in? They're like, well, you have to take the train down under to go up. And I was like, are they going to wait for me? They're like, yeah, you're fine. So I get in the train. I realize I'm on the train for the international concourse. So I have to get off the concourse, get on, and then I fall down the escalator, like literally, like it's my life. I fall down the escalator. My flip-flop gets stuck in the escalator stairs. And so some lady grabs my luggage. I get up there and they're closing the door. And I felt like the kid in Home Alone. I was like, you guys, please, like, you don't understand what I just.
So much anxiety. I hate traveling.
Then I get there, right? And I'm thinking, okay, this is all set up. It's going to be a great night. It's like the storm, right? And then you have and I get there and I bombed terribly at Tempe Improv. I don't know what it was. I think it was my first time. And my thing is I love improv comedy. I love doing skits and sketches. And I didn't realize that's a whole other beast. And I'm in the green room with these people and they're like, yeah, we've been doing this for like 15 years now. I'm like, I went to acting school when I was like 22 and that was 2011. And at this point I had done the Tempe Improv in like 21. I was like, I don't want to spend another 10 years chasing an entirely different career.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know if it's meant to be an in for me, but I knew I loved writing and I was like, I'm just going to put it in writing in some other form and I'll do an audiobook and maybe that'll be my way to do it. So
just different types of comedy. I was complaining to my husband about this. Shane Gillis, like I do not find his regular stand-ups funny at all. Like he's not a crowd work kind of guy. That's just not him. That's just not where he shines. But his like show Tires, I'm all giving him a random plug. His show Tires is absolutely hilarious because he has someone to banter. He has someone to banter off of. And he's not just home alone, you know, he has that confidence and that aura because the other main character is his cousin. Yeah. So they're always together. In almost every sketch, they're together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just different.
Yeah. No. It was, we were talking about the comedy and it's funny. Have you heard of Matt Rife?
I've heard of Matt Rife. Yeah, I like Nate Bargatze. I think he's really cool. Yeah.
So I don't usually like watch a lot of comedy, like every once in a while. And sometimes like his comedy it sometimes can be a little crude, but it's almost like in a subtle way he like is making it okay. Like it's so weird.
Yeah,
like
he's found that that niche for it. And like I perform at Arizona Broadway Theater a lot doing we do murder mystery dinner comedy shows, which I gotta get you guys I think would love it. I gotta get you guys when we do the next one, yeah. And it's all like we write our scripts to interact with the audience, and then before the show we have to go out as the character and interact with the audience.
Oh, that's
and so a lot of those times the audience will be there and they're like, hey, we're here for my friend's bachelorette party. Can you guys like totally throw her under the bus? So like, yeah, so I love it. But it's just, I think it's a different skill set. Yeah.
I thought about doing that back in the day. Like I saw some ads.
You know that I'm getting you in against your will.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'll have to come watch.
Dude, you know what? I'm like cringing, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome. I'm like, let's do it. Gosh, I haven't done like acting stuff in a while. Like I think I did like some stuff for like my church and stuff, but like other than that, it's like I haven't been like in front of a camera other than like a podcast.
Every week you're in front of the camera.
No, I'm like no, it's tough. Like because I talked to Marcelino was on here. He we were in acting class too, and it's man, like I'm seeing some people I went to class with, and like they're doing stuff, and it's like, oh, that's good, like awesome.
Yeah, dude, you've really gotta just like keep making your own opportunities, which is why I love the title for you guys, Bold Moves, which is funny because I went to watch you guys podcast and I had to like scrounge YouTube because there's like so many bold moves.
That's one of my gripes and one of the things that we're trying to work on for like Google search engine optimization that we are like the first to pop up.
Yeah.
It comes with time too. Podcast because there's one podcast that has like 200 episodes and then there's a lot that have like 20. So once we surpass the 20, it makes it easier for us.
You guys are I'm number 5, so I'm honored. Yeah.
And
working on it.
We're going to be cooler. We're going to be more fun. Like
I was talking to Matt. I love that you guys have the focus and mindset of like the bold moves, the insurance backgrounds and the sales, but you guys are bringing people from all walks of life. Cause I've just got into podcasts and like, I will literally listen to your guys's like at work or whatever in the background. I really love hearing the different, cause like you guys, I'm sure you're in the same line of work, but you have vastly different experiences and backgrounds. And that's why you guys come together like a Batman and Robin duo. Like it's legit.
Weirdly, we both have so I was a military wife. I had both my kids in military hospitals.
Wow, that's awesome.
So when we met, I was like, oh, like we're gonna be friends. Like we're gonna get each other from like a core values perspective of like military bearings and just knowing how to act, decorum, all of those things of like, no, generally speaking, sometimes I say what I'm thinking. So that's my problem, but everybody has one, I joke that I am like Sandy Cheeks. Like we've joked in our office. Don't you dare take the name of Texas in vain. But no, we've joked in our office that like we want to do some type of banter of utilizing his acting skills. So maybe we could possibly use you, but we were thinking about doing like kind of like a play on The Office, but for our insurance sales role. Because there's so many frustrations. Like we're a part of this group. It's called Insurance Soup on Facebook. There's all different types, right? There's real estate, different ones of like where you just sub other agents and crazy things that you saw. And so there's so many stories and we work in a very pain point kind of industry. So like we in claims have like this weird, like we just get each other. Like you see a claims adjuster and you're like, oh, you just know, they know that And so we're thinking about possibly doing something like that. We might need your help or expertise.
I would love to jump in. Are you kidding me? Even just working with Matt, because I remember you were super nice to me at the premiere of that film, and I had talked to a lot of people, so I'd be honored to help you guys. Absolutely. It's funny you say that because I was just doing a segment, a series, and they're like, it's like a thing. Everyone's trying to do their own version of like an office thing. So I love that you guys are going to do it like a sales insurance, because you guys, I'm sure there's a lot of hilarious situations you guys can hone in on to make yours different than that. And with the military thing, my buddy that was in, I don't know if you know the Planet George movie I did that I posted about, like my first featured film. It's on it's apparently everything I do is on Amazon. That's like, without Amazon, I'd have no career. But my buddy in that, he's actually in the Air Force. Like that's his day job. And he's back doing it. And he just now started doing videos, like I think they're called vertical videos.
Yeah.
With like his buddies in the military, just doing like fun little quick segments of like a day in the life of type thing on the base. And he's getting like 30, 40,000 views on these. What? Probably hashtagging the military. So you guys should totally do that.
And stuff. So my thing is food reviews. So that's what an area, like our business is opening up commercial. I'm all trying to plug our business, but we are. We're opening up commercial within the next few months as Comparion agents. So we're trying to make connections all within our community, not just individuals, but businesses too, and seeing the full potential. So my idea is we all have to eat, and it's something that we can bridge the gap with. Who's to say we might use them as an advertisement for the pod and be able to work with each other in a bunch of different ways to help that business. But my background, since you've already listened to the pod, I'm refilling in other people who might be listening at other times. So I worked at Facebook as a marketing expert. My job was to help people like Pink Lily Boutique or Black Rifle Coffee Company go through the ads sales funnel for Facebook. So like if the company wasn't very well known, we would be doing a reach campaign. We would be doing a traffic campaign, just getting people to their website, getting people to like an advertisement, getting people to a particular landing page. And so that was my job, is to coach somebody over the phone through Ads Manager to this is what you should be doing. And then here's a video that I improved upon. Well, I started getting all these marketing gurus that were qualifying for a call, and I thought that was weird. Like, okay, all these people who don't have a marketing background, they haven't worked at Facebook. I'm still sitting here answering, hi, this is Rachel from Facebook. And all these people are making $80 to $150 an hour being Facebook or TikTok coaches. Oh, I was like, really? Like, what am I doing here? Getting made like what, $22 an hour at that time? Terrible money. So I'm like, okay, let me just try and see what happens. Yeah. So I started giving marketing advice. I started teaching people, okay, here's a call to action. Here's a good hook. Here's an engagement post. Here's something that you can post every week. Every week, Matt, did you know that you should be posting, hi, I'm Matt in Arizona. I'm a dad who's into coding. I'm a former active military member, reservist. I'm a military member. I have been for 14 years. I'm a dad. We both have kids on the spectrum also because we're neurospicy. Other people who can relate to us, right? Like if you think about it in just layman's terms, like sales, like attracts like. The same thing is true for acting. We like actors. We like people that we can relate to. Yeah. We like people who, but your whole look, your whole vibe, I was like, he looks like he would be on The Office. I was like, in
a good way.
No, I think
a paid actor. Like, we paid you to be here. Yeah. You're how you're supposed to look,
Even though we didn't pay you to be here.
We're paying you in appreciation and shout outs and stuff.
I love it. That's all I need.
One of the things that we talked about, and I told him, I was like, this needs to be in the show, is we sit diagonal from each other in the room. And instead of talking shit or like we're people of very few words, but when we're talking shit and somebody's saying something stupid, we just turn and we look at each other.
I love that. You could get some easy shot. Maybe you could even
staring like.
Do that as part of the intro. I love that. Yeah, that's home improvement. I love that. Yeah.
The neighbors.
Office improvement, you can call it. Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's interesting.
I do love
hey.
the food reviews. I love the food reviews idea. Like, because a lot of times for me, like when I go to a place, I'm more like, okay, is the food there? I have like a 80-year-old woman's stomach, so I got to be super careful about what I eat. So I'm like, I love the idea, like, feed my mind and then feed my stomach. Like, let me get some insight into the reviews. Then I can go and feast on the King's Feast, if you will.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, it's starting to work out too, where people are wanting me to come. So I just did a burrito one, 14,000 views in 3 days.
They pay you $200 an hour?
How many views?
13,000, but it's been 3 days.
Listen,
it's only been 3 days.
You treat me like a piece of meat and do a review on me so that I can get seen by 40,000.
I saw that video. Like, what? That's crazy.
But because it's exactly what he's talking in the geotagging I've been trying to teach y'all about. So
yeah, geotag. I need your assistance. Yeah. Okay.
I joked about it in our sales meeting. I was like, I used to fairy godmother people, guys. Like, I would pick a person and they would pay me, but they were paying me like $80 an hour for a one-on-one FaceTime. So they would pay me, and I would do it gratis, but they would pay me and I would do a video call and I would do a post for them and everything that they needed to kind of change. Like, this is how you pitch yourself. This is how I think you should be selling yourself. This is how I think you should start. Here's an exact example with a music clip of what I think you need to post. And let me walk you through what I think you should be doing.
You should change your name to Fairy Book Godmother, because that would be...
Yeah, or social media godmother, something like
just
that.
dropping bombs on you guys.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to pay you or something. Like,
yes, like this has been mutually.
No, I gotta give back to you guys. I appreciate this. This is great.
Well, okay. So if you were talking about like your goal, you talked about the Cold Stone commercial and a lot of things slapping for you or working out for you more recently. If I asked this to other salespeople, so this is a little bit unique. If you had to talk about something that you would hope to be happening for you in the next like 6 months, something reasonable in your career, what would you hope to be happening? What opportunities would you hope for, so that maybe we can help align those and with our viewers?
No, I appreciate it. So even if you're not in sales, I think that's such a great question, because like we were talking about, you always need to have an idea of where you want to move to, because you can't really move.
I like what you said too, though, with grace. You know what I mean? It's not going to be perfect.
Well, yeah, and being humble is something that I've been reminded to be a lot of my life through all the hurdles. So what I would love to do is, I've always kind of had the idea for me that if I was able to do a sitcom or just, start working with an agent in LA and get those opportunities, that I would start to feel I've reached the success that I want. And I just want to be able to I do want to learn investing. I think it's really important, because savings account at a credit union that I have does nothing. But I feel like if you don't know how many opportunities you're going to get in this business or any business, right? You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, your guys' podcast a couple weeks ago was talking about how, especially in real estate, you guys deal with a lot of issues with like the market, and sales might be crashing at some point. Like, we don't know the scary stuff that happens. You want to understand a way to put your money and invest in it that you don't need to rely on another source for that income. And that's ultimately what I'd love to do. I'd love to get to a point where I'm earning enough that it's like, okay, now let me invest in something with somebody trustworthy that I can have money coming in. And somebody had told me a quote by some famous guy with financing, that the goal in life should be to earn money when you're sleeping. I don't know how genuine that is or sincere, but I get the logic behind it is pretty solid. Like, do something to where your skills that you have, your talents, can earn for you when you don't have to constantly be putting in the work for it, right? So I think that I would really love to kind of go that route where 6 months from now, I'm booking something that's going to provide for me so that I can put it toward providing for myself down the road from that. There's this really great, I don't know if there's any Christian listeners out there, but there's this passage about, in the Bible, there's like the 7 years of prosperity and everything's good. But that doesn't mean you don't plan for the 7 years when it's not going to be prosperous, right? When you have the things that make life comfortable, you need to make sure that you have that for when life's not comfortable. And that was just really sound advice for me, I think. So I think that's really crucial. If that answers your question in an extremely long-winded way.
Well, I feel like I'm extremely long-winded, so it made sense to me. But no, I feel like that's super positive and very real, because I think that's all of our goals in a kind of tumultuous world, and things and tariffs and everything costs rising. I think a lot of people are looking for even secondary ways to make income. And that's something that we've been talking about, is people aren't just going necessarily to even one day job. They're picking up all different types of jobs. So it would be a beautiful thing to feel like there was one primary source that's yielding for you for a long time, which I can totally relate to.
Yeah.
So as far as more long term, I know that's already pretty big. Do you have anything else you want to add, Ben?
No, I was just my mind's just going all over the place.
That's okay, mine too. So
I was just talking about like making money, and then I was thinking about like, oh yeah, everyone's on TikTok now and making videos.
That's a very good reasonable to answer your question. I feel like it's important that we need to give ourselves goals that we can achieve every day to get to that like month goal. And that's something that I should totally do, is be more consistent in posting, like on TikTok, on Instagram. Like, there's a lot of times when I'm on set with people and they're posting like crazy, and they want us to. The
productions. Sorry, that's random.
I can do Christopher Walken. Hey, you mother souls. Yeah, like I should start doing like anything. Yeah, I have this idea. Yes, I have this idea where I just started getting into Gordon Ramsay cooking, and I come from a family of chefs, and I don't cook. Like, I've burned macaroni before. Like, I'm a bad cook. And I started watching Gordon Ramsay, and he's like, all right, come on, eggs. Everybody loves them. So all of us cooking eggs. I'm like, I'm going to go buy eggs. it's like $20 for like 24 eggs now. I'm like, $1 an egg? Like, I should just raise chickens. That's what we should invest in. We should all be investing in raising chickens. That is the future.
At this point, $9 a dozen.
No, I was.
That gives me 4.
Oh, yeah.
What is going
Well,
on?
I can't eat eggs anymore because back in the day, I did keto and I used to eat like 50 eggs a day, and all of a sudden now my body is like rejecting it, and so I get like this lung inflammation when I eat eggs now, so it sucks. I can't eat eggs. I'm kind of irritated about that, but anyway, no, I was thinking about when I was a kid. I was probably like 8 years old or something like that, and I would like take my parents' camcorder, like the big giant camcorder that you put on your shoulder,
Yeah.
VHS tape. And I'd be going around and I'd just be like documenting everything and I'd be narrating. And I'm just like, if there was internet back then, there wasn't internet back then. Like I would be totally throwing that up on YouTube and like just
Oh, yeah.
generate content. But somewhere down the line from when you're a kid to when you become like grown man or grown adult, you start to get these insecurities and you start to get these like, oh, I don't know if I should post that. And like, what are they going to think? And oh, I don't know. I didn't say, like all of these things start going in your head, and it's just like, why? Like, just post it. And I keep hearing those words from Gary Vee. Just post content. Just post it.
I like that because I've never heard those words before. And so I'm definitely going to be taking that gift you've given me as I leave later and using that. But that's very true. And that's something I know. So I started coaching youth in like improv and acting. And it's been pretty prosperous. And the one thing that I'm realizing from feedback is a lot of the kids, even if you don't ever want to do acting or anything, everyone should be taking improv class at some point in your life because it's really going to help your sense of security in yourself in unfamiliar situations. And watching the kid, like for me, martial arts was a thing for me as a kid. There wasn't improv in the Midwest where I grew up. But if I had it as a kid, maybe I would have jumped on things a little bit sooner, right? So I just love that it's giving these kids a tool to be confident in themselves and say, teaching them to don't listen to like the doubt and just try something, because at the end of the day, the business of acting, like I think it was Viola Spolin said it in a book that I'm going to get such flack if this is wrong, especially because I went to Second City, but I'm pretty sure Viola Spolin was the woman that helped found Second City, and she based it on walking down the sidewalk. She was watching kids play hand puppets on the sidewalk or something along those lines. And she's like, this is what acting should be. Us as kids, not worried about an audience, what people are thinking, and just total freedom. And I have loved that ever since. And so I try to instill that in like the teaching methods that I use. And it's such a joy watching these kids overcome like insecurities.
That makes me want just beg the question. So like, I have lots of accounts. I talk about it all the time, but like I have 12 Instagram accounts. I have 4 TikTok accounts. I have a lot.
Godmother.
For varying interests. So I would recommend you doing a page like where that is the point. Like you are teaching improv for kids attached to your normal social acting page, because then you can start building a following. And yes, it's niche, right?
Right.
But this is a common area where people have dreams of their kid. California's not very far away. Have dreams of sending their kid 4 or 5 hours down the road to pursue that dream, but live here. And there's a lot of affluence here. Same reason why my big risk is my children's father got his dream job here. So we are very much so hot mess express, off again, on again, and like a sitcom. Like we're so honest about it and keep it real in that way.
That's good. Yeah.
But I'm very much so about my kids and like child-led, and that's the whole point of me being here. But I had a great book of business, know a lot of people back home in Texas, and chose to come here so that we could parent 50-50. So like sometimes, like what you're saying, you said it earlier, like sometimes the bold move isn't at all tied to money. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it's having faith on yourself for a completely different reason. Faith that you were going to make it out of living in your car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't ever discount yourself, because that is a bold move. That is huge. And sometimes not the most orthodox thing or the thing that makes sense to most people is the right thing for you.
Yeah, it's so important for, I think, us to remember that like small moves or small means is how you bring to pass like the big important things in life. And like for me, it's the little like, I don't know if I should post today, or I'm not feeling being procrastinatory or being judgmental about taking the small step. And a lot of it too is I can tend to be a lazy person when I'm feeling unmotivated. And it's like, if I have a big job or big gig coming up, I'll wait till the night before and go crash course. And then my mind's like, I feel so in like fueled. Like I have all these ideas. And if I would take like little steps there, imagine where I would be when I get to that point when I'm already at that level, but I have all of this stuff that I brought with me. So I really love what you just said. That's super important.
I was listening and they were saying something like when you talk to these people that are creators and they post for like, 3 or 4 years, nothing, 3 or 4 years, 5 years. And then all of a sudden, like, 7th year down the line or something, all of a sudden, boom, it like pops and like all of their stuff just becomes viral. And now they're like on this like big forward momentum. And it's like they're telling you just post every day and just do it. It's like an investment. Like, when you're talking about the stock market and like, like investing, you know what I mean? You're putting stuff away that eventually could turn out to be something, you know? And that's like, that kind of resonated with me. And I'm having like this internal struggle. So like, just to kind of fill you in on like what's going on with my family, like my daughter is like me, like she likes to act, she likes to do stuff, and she wants to be on YouTube. She wants to like post stuff. And I think I did a TikTok on this earlier, but I'm like debating, like I not letting her have like a YouTube channel. I created one under my name. And
Smart. Yeah.
But I'm debating on whether or not to have her videos go like public, because I tested it and she did this one short and she was talking about her day at school, and like the next day I got like 500 views and I'm like, it's kind of weird. And so I'm like, are these like creepy like people or like legit things, So I'm like, and I'm like, okay, let's make them private for right now. But I don't want to like stifle her creativity and say, no, don't do this. But because
a couple ideas.
Okay.
So the only reason why I wouldn't put it in her name, but I also wouldn't put it in yours, what we do is we'll sign up as though it's us, like with the same age and everything. If you sign up as though it's her actual age, she will only get to interact with other minor accounts. She won't be shown on her timeline and her preferences. She won't be shown any type of adult creator. She would have to go searching for that. And even then, they make it very hard to be seen.
Okay. But
so the only benefit of having like a minor account and putting in the birthday of the correct age, it doesn't have to be her name. It could be Sarah Smith. You know what I mean? You could put whatever bum name that isn't her, or just a vague name, like
just
baseball player 23, whatever. Yeah. Something like that. So that way, but you would put her actual info like on the back end of it, so that she's not shown to other people. She's only shown to minor accounts.
Okay.
So it's not going to be stifling her creativity, but it's going to make it very hard for her to be shown to creeps.
But I think like she has to be like what, 13? Is that okay? So
12 or 13, depending on the app rules.
Okay. So she has the mind of a 13-year-old, but she's 8. So she's just, so I guess I gotta
figure that out. Weigh your options, figure out what's right for you. So the other thing that I was going to say is a lot of those family accounts, they do faceless accounts. They literally blur out the kid's face. So it could be what they're doing, but then when you were to see them on the street, you would never know who the kid is because their face is blurred.
Okay, that's a good idea.
So that's a common one for that reason of being mindful of how people are.
Okay. Because here's the thing, like, okay, so if she posts these videos now, like even if it's like, let's say like the faceless videos for right now, like in 10 years, like she could potentially have like an income stream that could like
if I could tell you what to do, being how the type of kid she is, there's these little extensions, and I do it for baking or cooking, and you wear it literally over your shoulders so it makes your
I've seen this,
right? She could do those slime videos because she's a little kid, and she could narrate the slime videos and things where she's not being shown. She's teaching other kids how to do. Genius. Because it'll go viral on YouTube. It'll go viral on TikTok. I'm like, see, this is the kind of stuff I would do. Hey, little cute science kid, this is what we're doing. Parents don't want to show face.
I can't tell you the amount of times I've been visiting family and my nieces and nephews are watching videos of kids playing with dolls, and
unboxing videos, that stuff would make me so mad.
100,000 views. Yeah.
I'm like, so the stuff that I see,
like bad ASMR.
Yes.
Yeah, the stuff I see my daughter watching. So, oh my gosh.
I'm so happy.
This is awesome. She watches these videos of kids just playing like with toys and like, you know,
and like ones that look like from a freaking vending machine. It pisses me off.
As a kid, when I'm in my room at 17 doing voices with my Dressmark action figures, guys, you would be on my podcast right now, and I would be paying you to be on my podcast. I would have. I'm telling you, man. So that's a great idea. You have the hookup right here.
that's cool. I like that.
I told Chase, your wife, because she likes. I was like, hey Chase, I bet like one of our coworkers. He's like,
My wife?
Chase's wife.
Oh, I thought you said my wife.
No, not your wife. Sorry, accent. You can't understand me. It's too thick. All right. Anyway, so I was like, hey, he was like, same thing. They have twin 1-year-olds. He's like, I don't want to show. But like my wife, she does like a bunch of like cute stuff. I was like, hey, does your wife like make your kid those like cute meals? And he's like, yeah, like she cuts them into the shapes and stuff. I was like, that's what she needs to be showing. Lunches. Show the lunches that she makes for the toddlers. Baby safe little lunches, little cute cutout star little sandwiches, little moons, you know, and just show how easy she like meal preps or whatever for the kids. He's like, oh my God.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Mhm.
but so sometimes it's not like so overt, right? But there's a lot of ways to skin a cat
Yeah.
in that way. And so with you, if we could get you an account to 1,000, you would go great going live. That's what a lot of actors do.
Yeah, that's what I'd love. I have some friends that get in there, and so I've been on their live videos. I'm getting followers from that, but yeah, I didn't know about until I was listening to you guys talking about.
NPCs,
Dude.
what I was thinking. You could be an office NPC, and you could no joke make $200 or $300 a day if you listen to me.
Dude.
And I'll show you. I'll
I'm serious. I'm definitely down.
Serious as a heart attack. There will be people who will be like, coffee, and every time somebody's sending them a coffee, it's $5. Just to put it in perspective, you know. And they do a certain thing every time, and strange people or people who are into it, and that's their jam, are throwing money at you.
Oh, you mean like when they go live and they're
When
just.
you go live, we have to get an account to 1,000, right? So
Right.
that's the first goal.
Yeah.
But once you're able to have 1,000 followers and go live, you can be gifted in your live stream.
Yeah.
But actors who are like you, who are trying to be discovered, it's a way a lot of people get seen too.
Yeah.
You commit to a character. You don't even have to commit to the same character. You could do something different literally every day.
Yeah, I went on that whole ADHD thing about the Gordon Ramsay eggs. That's what I was doing. I was thinking of doing like the
There's
What?
this girl cooking with Kaya, and it's like sexy cooking. Okay, but what if you made it a parody?
I would love to do a parody. That's what I'm talking.
Kaya, cooking with Kaya.
It's funny because everyone calls me Uncle E, so I could be cooking with Uncle E, and I could be like an A.
We get you some wide rim glasses, right? And we get you a little apron, but it's a whole.
I am so down for this.
Yes, I'm like, this is how my brain
Especially since I'm not the
I should be.
I'm not the best cook. I feel like I could get people commenting in the thread about how awful my cooking is. Yeah. I think that's brilliant.
Dude, do you know who did this? Okay, so she's gonna be on our show in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Becky.
Becky Jo Harris.
Becky Jo.
Yeah, nice. Becky. She's great.
She is awesome. And she started, this was probably like in 2020, where she started posting these videos of her just doing these quirky little things. They were short, like just little different characters,
Yeah.
like all kinds of different characters.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like watching this and like, what is this? And she was smart. She is smart. Like, because that just built traction. And I guarantee you, when she was submitting her tapes and submitting her stuff, like people were seeing her socials and seeing all these
they
characters.
do that 100% now.
Yeah. And now she's like, she's doing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, dang. And I was in class with her. Like, I get so excited when I see people that I know, like on.
Yeah, you have to. Like, it's, yeah.
It's just awesome. But yeah, I say you should do that.
Because it's funny because during COVID, I was doing these, Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid? I was doing these Miyagi videos where I would be posting myself playing a student and then me playing an impersonation of Mr. Miyagi doing really bad dad jokes. Like Mr. Miyagi would come on and he'd be like, let me see if I can think of one of them. It was like, Danielson, when one bend over, view of world change. And then I would show myself as a student reacting like in an obnoxious way that I'm so annoyed with never getting a karate lesson, but he keeps giving me these dad joke lessons instead. And people have been telling me like, yo, I really miss those videos. I probably had like 30 or 40 of them. And I should go back to that because that was really working. That was like something I hadn't seen people doing. Yeah. And so this is like, I think giving me like a second win to maybe revisit that.
Yeah, that's a thing that I don't know who said it, but that's the thing. Like finding like a little stick. Like, is that what
Yeah.
stick that
Yeah.
you can like?
Sure.
Yeah, something.
Well, yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, something that is repeatable, like just over and over and over again. Like I see them all the time. Like that one dude, like, here's something I wish I didn't know until I was 30 or something like that, or like, little things like that. And then they go into their thing.
There's also characters that are just beloved characters. So like one of them that just popped into my head recently is that show Lazy Town, where they're like acrobatic. It was like a kids show and they're acrobatic and they do flips and stuff. I completely forgot about it until one of the girls, like they wore crazy wigs, like bright colored wigs, until one of the girls who's now an adult put her costume on and did like a turnaround. I was like, oh my God, I forgot this completely existed. But there were two guys who were super flexible. One would do toe touches. That was like his thing because he was like a former Olympian. So he was a gymnast. He would do toe touches. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh.
People, if anybody, male, had that talent, could parody him and could make $1 million this year. Yeah. So it also just depends on what is hot or what is doing well that you could pair yourself well to. So there's girls who look similar, just kind of similar to Ariana Grande, and do Ariana Grande in like complete.
Oh yeah, that tag alone, I probably blows up your
100%. And even if people don't think they look like her, they will argue about that in the comments. Oh, this, or same with the impressions. That didn't sound like so and so.
I learned that from your other podcast. That getting
That's funny.
See, you are teaching people you don't even know it.
So we're running out of time. What do you want to leave the audience with? How can they get a hold of you? How can they find you? Last words of wisdom.
So I can be reached on Instagram at ELEEO_SHOW, Elio Show, and then my name on Facebook, Eric Lee Olsen. I would love for people to check out the book, and if you love it, tell everybody you know that you love it. If you hate it, tell everybody you hate to read it, because it's like a win-win either way. Word of wisdom for me, man, that's a doozy. I'll go with something that my dad always says. If life's beating you down and you're finding it hard to walk, you might as well get on your knees and pray, and then you'll be able to take another step. So I feel like that's pretty knowledgeable. That, and also brush your teeth.
Nice. Well, we're in insurance. We mitigate risk. I know it's nothing too exciting, but that's what we do. And so you can always reach us if you want to mitigate some risk. Any last words you want to say?
Nope.
Neither do I. Awesome, dude. Like, I had a great time. Glad you were on the show.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for all the plugs. Appreciate it. Didn't have to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, anything we could do to help, like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, folks, it's been real. We'll catch you next time on the Bold Moves podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to Bold Moves, where Matt Torres and Rachel Stagg celebrate Arizona's fiercest innovators, risk takers, and dreamers.
We hope this episode sparked fresh ideas and fueled your courage to take action. Remember, real change begins with that first brave step.
Stay connected for behind-the-scenes insights, exclusive episodes, and community updates. Follow us on social media to share your journey.
For more information, resources, and connections, visit boldmovespodcastaz.com.
Until next time, keep daring, keep dreaming, and keep making bold moves wherever you are.